Coming up on this episode of the Hitstreak.
The biggest problem I have is when I'm dealing with clients is they want to launch a product that they want to launch.
Yeah.
It's the biggest mistake.
Here is how Dr. Aaron Pryor changed my life. I used to hide my smile, covering my mouth in photos, holding back in conversations, even avoiding big moments. I didn't realize how much it was holding me back until I got my brand new veneers at Pryor Family Dentistry. It's not just my teeth. It's my confidence, my energy, my entire life. Visit PryorFamilyDentistry.com to book a consultation. Your life-changing smile awaits. Whoa. Check this out. Some of the world's biggest success stories started with nothing. Just grit, hustle, and a story worth hearing. If you've got a story that people need to hear, this is your shot. If you've been through the fire and came out stronger, you belong on this show. Email management@nickhyder.com or comment or DM the word Hitstreak to apply. The Hitstreak is where rags to riches stories have been told, and the next one could be yours. Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I am your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, I got an extra special treat joining me in the Hit Lab today. And we got a lot to get through today, so we're going to get right into it right now. Let me give this cat a proper introduction, okay? Folks, check it out. He has been a partner, and he's partnered and collaborated with some of the most iconic brands on earth, including some that we know and love, like best-selling author and world-renowned keynote speaker coach Eric Thomas, and fitness legend, you remember P90X, Tony Horton, just to name a few, folks. He's the founder and CEO of Icon Funnels Consulting. Give it up for Caesar Hernandez. Caesar, how we doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? That was a great intro, man. I'm feeling myself right now. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me and hanging out in the on the Hitstreak here. It's a great honor. Thank you so much.
It's game time, baby.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? It's game time. Man, and I just want to say a big shout out to Antoine Robinson and our boy Mike White for putting us together, making the introduction. I've been so excited for this episode for a long time.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate it. And shout out to the guys, man. Those are our boys and we love them. And they knew that we had to come together and make this thing happen. So I'm glad that we got it done. Well,
check this out, man. So you remember the commercials, I don't know if it was it Modelo? No, Dos Equis. You remember the most interesting man in America or the world or whatever? Yeah. I feel like that's you right now. I feel like I'm sitting across from him right now.
Appreciate that.
Well, I mean, let's just get right into it. All right, folks, I'm going to answer a question you've had for a long time. All right, there's two words that get used together often.
Yep.
And you're probably, if you're anything like me, which a lot of you are, for a long time, it made sense. You started seeing the two words are ClickFunnels, all right? Mm-hmm. And you would see people that would have these look like records, like a gold record, like they sold a bunch of albums or something, and that was for ClickFunnels awards, right? Mm-hmm. So I used to nod along like ClickFunnels. Yeah, I got it. I didn't know what it meant, man. I honestly didn't know what it meant for a long time, and I feel like there's a lot of folks that are still out there when it comes to ClickFunnels. It's been around for a long time. Caesar, what in the world, that is your thing, man. What is a ClickFunnel?
So a ClickFunnel, man, the way that we like to describe it, number one, shout out to Russell Brunson. He is the founder of ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels, if you think about it, it is a sales funnels process. So if you think about a website, right? The website is a brochure that nobody ever reads. Mm-hmm. It is there to kind of give you validity. People go there, they see that you're a real thing, you're a real living, breathing entity, whatnot, right? Well, a funnel is an actual sales process that has one objective. We're not talking about me. We're not talking about the history of the company. We're not talking about our products. There's one primary focus on a funnel that leads you to a path of what we want you to buy. So if you land on a funnel, that funnel may have only one offer on it. Like in Tony's case, and we could talk about this later, but a fitness program, right? So you have a fitness program. Here it is. It is a monthly membership and you can buy it if you like. And so that is as simple as it is. And then on the next page, this is where funnels differ from websites. On the next page, it's the next logical thing that you would buy. So if you just bought fitness, you might want some accountability, right? To follow through with that. So that's the difference between a funnel and a website.
Okay.
And ClickFunnels is really the main company that has championed this. Now, look, all the go high level people are going to come after me, and I don't really care. I don't care because I don't have reciprocity. I use go high level all the time, but I don't really care for the company like I do for ClickFunnels because Russell Brunson was the guy who really made it mainstream. He was the guy that put it out there. He was the one that took all the risk. He was the one that created a product that just paved the way for so many of these influencers that we see today to be able to make money. So shout out to Russell.
Got it. So, because like, I don't even know what I thought it was for a long time. I heard ClickFunnels, I heard this and that, and it was like, I'm thinking like, well, I'm visualing a funnel that I'd put in the hood of my car, to put oil in the car or something like that. And I'm like, well, how's that like working? It was a long time. So, all right, those awards that you see.
Yeah.
All right. So, first of all, Nick, I need one of those, Caesar. I ain't got no awards like that. Brad's got a few. A bunch of people have them. How'd they get them?
So, a Two Comma Club award is like the first tier. And a Two Comma Club award is when you hit $1 million in a funnel. Okay. So that's where the 2 comma comes from. And essentially it's just a way that if you know Russell Brunson and you know his strategy, you have to create a sort of community and also a future-based cause in what you're trying to, a future-based cause that people will look forward to and saying, hey, I want to get that thing. Right? There's something that I want to achieve. There's something that I want to do. And the 2 Comma Club Award is kind of that.
Gotcha.
It is the future thing that people aspire to. You need to have something that people want to go and, achieve. So for ClickFunnels, that's what created the community. It was like, hey, I want a 2 Comma Club Award. I want to hit $1 million in a funnel. And now there's so many different awards now where you can hit $10 million and you get, $100 million. Like he's got some crazy awards, right? But the 2 Comma Club Award is essentially when you hit $1 million through a sales funnel. Now that could be a high ticket funnel, which is the application funnel where you're selling B2B stuff, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 products, or an actual tripwire sales funnel, which is more of the automated digital products that you can sell. And there's all types of different funnels. And we'll get into that, but there's all types of different funnels. I don't care what business you're in, there's a funnel for you.
Gotcha.
There is a funnel for you. I don't care if you're a roofer or if you're a fitness online personality, there's a funnel for you.
Well, first of all, I actually understand it way better now just from hearing you say that. For a long time, I didn't understand that like you could be an architect in like digital real estate like that and build a funnel like that. But the other thing I didn't understand for a long time was that like ClickFunnels was like you said, go high level versus ClickFunnels. I didn't realize that like, I thought ClickFunnels was just like a thing, I didn't know it was actually like a source, you know what I'm saying? Or a brand itself.
Yeah. It's basically, essentially a CRM software is what it's evolved to. And, when Go High Level came to the scene, they came with more bells and whistles in terms of a CRM. So not only can you build a funnel, but you can have communication with your customers. You can have workflows and pipelines and build websites and funnels all in one system, right? And I'm giving it just kind of a brief synopsis of what it is. There's so much more than that, but essentially they were competing on features. And to me, at the end of the day, this is the way that I look at it. Go High Level is technically sound, but it's not as beautiful as ClickFunnels, if that makes sense. You can make some beauties on ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels has come a long way as far as technically to kind of catch up with Go High Level and what they were doing. But if I was to put my hat and say, there's one software, I got to say Russell, man. And it's one of these things where you've seen a lot of people migrate from one to another because this is a real thing.
Okay.
It's almost like vegans versus carnivores.
Got it.
Okay. That's how serious it's gotten in the industry.
Wow.
Where, you got your ClickFunnels people, you got your Go High Level people, they don't like each other. I can care less, man. I float between both, but I always say that ClickFunnels is like the Ferrari versus, Toyota Camry or something like that.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So that's the way, that's my outlook. Now, some people will argue in the comments and say differently, but whatever, man. It's a software.
That's right. That's right. Well, all right. So how did you, cause you were in fitness prior to this, right? So tell me how, so obviously you probably used it yourself.
Yes.
And that was where you saw the future, right? You saw the opportunity.
So this is an interesting story. So I owned a gym prior to getting into the marketing thing. And the way that I discovered ClickFunnels was because I needed to have a strategy to attract more people to my gym. And so I joined a couple of masterminds. And in the masterminds, they started talking about these things called funnels. I'm like, what is a funnel? What is that? Like, I have a website and it's cool. It shows my stuff. And, we get some leads from that. And shout out to Bedros Keuilian. He was one of my first mentors, and he's well known in the coaching space, right? So Bedros, while we were talking, he was like, Caesar, I think you should do a funnel. I said, okay, well, let me go check out what this funnel is. And so Bedros was selling the funnels, of course, right? So he had an affiliate link and all that sort of thing. And so he sent me an example of a funnel. And when I looked at it, I said, you know what? I think I can create this. Let me go see if I can create this. And so I logged into my ClickFunnels account, and I had the funnel that he had sent to me, and I started to build it inside of ClickFunnels. And I'm like, okay, let me just go and see what I can do. Well, about 7 hours later, I came out with something that looked exactly the same.
Okay.
And I was like, I think I can build some funnels.
There you go.
And so I sent it to him and his team, and they were like, you built this? I said, yeah, I built it. This is my version of it. And they're like, all right, please don't tell anybody because we're trying to sell these things. And I wasn't trying to compete with them at all. I was just trying to figure out what a funnel was and how it flowed and whatnot. And so that was my introduction to funnels. And so I started using it, and I'll tell you, it changed my life. And this is why I always give it up to Russell, because I started reading .com secrets. I started reading expert secrets, and I started just indulging on all his content, his podcast. At the time, he had a podcast. I think it was Marketing in Your Car, something like that. And it was phenomenal. And when I would put together a funnel, I then had to go learn how to run ads. So then I'm like, okay, so let me go figure out this Facebook ads thing. And when I figured that out and I combined it with the funnel, all of a sudden I would turn on an ad and I would have 80 to 90 people at my gym over the weekend. Like, I would turn it on Thursday. Monday, I had 80 to 100 people brand new in my gym.
Dang.
Like, think about how crazy that was.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, I would turn on an ad with a funnel. It had one offer. It was simplified. It was called the 21-Day Fat Loss Program. People would opt into that, pay $21, 21 days for $21, come through my funnel, and they would show up at the gym the next Monday. I'm like, I think I like funnels.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. And so I had all those people show up to my gym. A certain percentage of them would convert over to long-term members. And I was like, oh, I see how this game is played. And so that was really the introduction to funnels for me. And ever since then, I have been like a crack fiend for funnels. And I'm going to say this, funnels will change your life if you do it the right way. Russell has a saying where he talks about you're one funnel away. And it's so true. Like,
wow, that's powerful.
One funnel can buy you that house that you're looking at, the one that you're dreaming about, and you're sitting there and you're doing all of the, what do they call it? I'm not really into energy or anything like that. My buddy Mike White's going to kill me for saying that, but I'm not into all the crazy, the law of attraction and everything. It's, I get it, but that house that you're envisioning for yourself. And, that car that you want, or maybe just the family member that you want to help out. A funnel can do that for you.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm so passionate about it, because I have seen a funnel go from $0 to $100,000 in a day. We've done that so many times now, and I'm like, this is life-changing. I'll tell you a story about it later if you want to hear about how we did that with Tony Horton. But funnels are game-changing.
Hi, folks. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all of you, the millions of you tuning into the Hitstreak. We're literally getting the information from the people that have it to the people that need it by bringing on guests that everybody knows and some that not everybody knows yet. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep leveling up with the Hitstreak. Folks, this is the coolest thing about podcasts is I get to take notes. So, all right. So first of all, make sure, Tony, everybody knows who Tony Horton is.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you've been under a rock.
Yep.
Tony Horton, P90X.
Yep.
Was at literally like the top of the world.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of disappeared. It was a health stuff though, right? Right.
Yep.
Not a lot of people know that, but he's back.
Yep.
He's back. So tell me about that.
So man, in order to tell you that, I got to build some context around it if you don't mind.
Please.
So in 2010, I'm sitting in my house and I'm suffering from chronic panic attacks and anxiety and depression. I became agoraphobic. I couldn't even go check the mail around the corner from my house or pump gas a couple of miles from my house because I would have full-blown panic attacks. And it started to really mess with me. And, you know, the reason I was in that place was because I was a single father at the time, trying to raise my kids. I had gotten some threats on my life because I was protecting my children. That's a whole nother story. But I just got to a point in my life where things were stressful, man.
Yeah.
And one day my brother walks in and he's got, you remember back in the day, we used to burn everything and just like hijack all these programs. So if Tony's watching this, I'm sorry, Tony, but my first P90X was a bootleg burned DVD set. And my brother walks in with the set and he says, man, I don't know if this is going to help, but here's a program that, you know, everybody's doing right now.
It was so hard.
It was tough. You know, it's Power 90 Extreme for a reason. That's what
did it, couldn't finish it.
I talk to most people. They're like, yeah, I did one workout. And so anyhow, so he comes in, gives me the P90X, and I do it. And over a span of 3.5 months, I lose 75 pounds. Okay.
You were 75 pounds. I didn't know that. And I've never seen that.
I was like 250 something pounds, 240 something pounds. It was crazy. And I'm a fitness guy now, but this was when I was not a fitness guy at all.
Okay.
And so anyhow, I ended up doing P90X. Fast forward, I built a 7-figure business via my gym, via funnels. And then in 2018, I shut down that gym and I was looking for the next thing. And at this point, I had already helped Eric. I had consulted with them, and you know, those guys, shout out to them because they really gave me my shot at the industry.
Yeah.
They're the ones that gave me the opportunity to be able to consult them at that level. Cause at the time they were already blowing up.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
So like one of the hardest things to do is get in the room. All right.
Yeah.
But if you're meant to be in the room, you stay in the room once you get in, right? So that's cool. So how did you get their attention?
Oh yeah. That's an interesting story.
Yeah. How'd you get their attention? And I mean, you got to go close those guys.
Yeah.
Right. And they could have hired anybody.
Yep. So the way I got into the room, the short story is that I was listening to a podcast. It was called the Secret of Success podcast, which they still have today. And I was looking for motivation. I was a burnt out gym owner. And I said, man, they just promoted an event that they're having in Indianapolis, Indiana this weekend. Well, my kids were born in Indiana. So I'm like, man, I can go visit some friends, family, you know. So I got on a plane at last minute, got on a plane, shot over there, bought a VIP ticket to the event, ended up in the room. And about halfway through the VIP ticket, the event, I stood up and I just said one thing. I was like, you guys have provided me more value in the last hour than I've ever gotten any of the masterminds that I paid tens of thousands of dollars for. And I sat back down. I got in the room and I made a statement. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't come with like, hey, I need you to give me some answers. I came with a statement and a compliment and I gave it to him and I meant it.
You gave them valuable feedback.
I gave him valuable feedback. And I said, I don't want anything from you. I just want you to know that I am getting value from this at such a tremendous level. I need everybody in the room to know it. And so afterwards, Eric and CJ, which is his right-hand man, came up to me. Like, who are you, man? What do you do? I said, man, I'm just a stressed out gym owner, man, but I love marketing and this is what I do. And we exchanged information and we ended up conversating over the next month. And then before you knew it, about a little over a month later, I'm flying out to Atlanta and I'm doing my first consulting.
No.
And that was with Eric Thomas. Yeah.
Dang.
And so, and during that time, I came up with his speakers mastermind, which was called the Game Changer at the time. You can research this, look it up. It's called the Game Changer.
You're right. That's
and the reason I named it the Game Changer was because, well, they named it, but I gave them the name and the idea and the concept, and they ran with it. But I was doing the Game Changer program in my gym. So the Game Changer program was just something that I did with my high level clients. So at the time it was fresh in my mind and I came up with these concepts and I combined them together and it's like an artist. You just put these ideas together and you're like, this would be really cool. This would be a great offer. They ran with it, had tremendous success. And today it's still going. But it's now with Jeremy Anderson, the Speakers Academy.
Man,
yeah,
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And all that from getting in the room, one event, and you finally just spoke from your heart. That takes courage. A lot of people won't do that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's killer. How'd you get in? So all right, so that was with Eric. How did you get in with? Because you got in with Tony basically like at his peak.
Yeah. So with Tony, what happened was this is in 2000. Oh gosh, man, it was in 2019. I'm sitting there, and after I shut down my gym, and I was creating programs for gym owners because I had gone through so much pain, Nick. So much pain in my gym that I didn't want them to go through the pain that I went through. And I was hearing so many horror stories about what was going on in the gym industry. And keep in mind, this is prior to 2020.
Yeah.
Things were going wrong in the fitness industry for sure. People were sleeping in their gyms just like I did. People were going through really bad situations. So I decided through a funnel that I wanted to create a solution. And the context of that was that I'm sitting on my sister's couch because I had lost everything when I shut my facility down.
Okay.
I made $100,000 through a funnel in a month because I solved the problem. Now, what that did was that gave me an audience, which was all of the fitness people.
Yep.
And from that, I invited Tony. I just shot him an email. People, take your shot. You never know what is going to happen. Take your shot.
Facts.
I literally just shot an email over to him. I got the email from the website, shot it over, did not expect to hear back.
Right.
Within 24 hours, Mr. Tony himself emailed me. Now, the reason why that happened, you can't do that now. But the reason why it happened was because he was in transition from Beachbody. Beachbody said, hey, man, we're not going to require your services much longer.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you for the $1 billion valuation from P90X, brother. But, this is it. And so he was in transition. And he was no longer with Beachbody doing the business that they were doing together. And so when I met him, he had just come off of being sick. Not a lot of people know this, like you said. He had lost about 20-something pounds of muscle mass, built it back, gained all that muscle back, and now he was ready to get back in the game, but he didn't know how. He didn't know how to create his own platform. He didn't know how to create his own programs.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to market to the people that followed him for years and years.
Because he was the talent.
He's a talent.
Yeah.
Tony has a saying. His favorite saying is, I show up and I hit my mark. That's Tony's favorite saying, right? And so I'm going to show up and hit my mark. So he needed someone to come in and give him direction.
Yeah.
Now, here's the ironic part. When he walked out of there and walked out of his meetings with Beachbody and it didn't look like it was going to happen. And then I come in and I advise and consult him to build his own competing platform, to create his own program, which we called the Power of 4 by Tony Horton. It was meant to be the P90X4. If you didn't get that, because he had done P90X1, P90X2, and P90X3 with Beachbody. So we created the next segment, which was the Power of 4.
Gotcha.
Right?
That's so smart.
So, that was a way to go around the IP thing, right? We created it. Recently, Tony did a deal with Beachbody, and they are now paying him to use that program on their platform.
No way.
Now think about how full circle that is.
Yeah.
Right? And so now they are essentially leasing it from him, right? And it's been an amazing journey to see him go from, not knowing what to do, being Mr. P90X, sitting in his mansion. Let's call it what it is, sitting in his mansion, trying to figure out the next step. And I'm just so proud of that program.
Yeah.
It's touched over 100 countries, Nick. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah. That's it's life-changing for the entire world. It's international, baby.
Yeah.
That's big time.
And it came through a funnel.
That's right. So let me get this straight. So as we're sitting here today, when we're recording this, it's 2025.
Yeah.
All right. When you in 2019,
yes.
So that's not that long ago.
Yep.
All right. What would you say? What were you worth back then in 2019?
Maybe about $2.57.
Yeah.
On a good day.
Yeah, man.
Because I had already built up a 7-figure business, and when I had shut down my facility, it all goes away.
Yeah.
And I think more people need to be honest about that, man. You can have peaks in your entrepreneurship journey, and just like that, it could just go, go right down. And so around that time where I was transitioning from my gym to trying to figure out my next step, it got bad.
Okay.
It got bad. Me and my kids were sleeping in my gym on the floor.
Wow.
I got pictures of this.
Wow.
And this is all public information. It's nothing I try to hide.
Yeah.
I got pictures of it, and we slept in there, and then I finally swallowed my ego, and I swallowed my pride, and I went over to my sister's house, and I knocked on the door, and I said, "Hey, can you let me in? Can you let me in? Let me sleep on your couch, and the kid's going to be with me." It was a hard time.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the messages that I want to put out to people. Never give up if you truly want this. Like, do not give up. I was looking down despair. I was looking down the barrel of everything just being done.
Yeah.
I had lost everything. There was a lot of guilt and shame that comes along with that as well. That's another thing that we don't talk about a whole lot in entrepreneurship. There's a lot of guilt and shame that come from having public failures in front of everybody. I was Coach C. I wasn't Caesar Hernandez.
Yeah.
I was Coach C. Everybody knew me as Coach C, and Coach C now failed in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And so I went from that and sleeping on my sister's couch to then building up a 6 and multiple 7-figure business now. And that was just, I remember it so clearly that just remembering that, man, there's no way that I've taken this amount of pain and this amount of getting beat up to even think about turning back.
There's something that I'm starting to, or I've been seeing it for a long time in folks that are, well, they're living the life they want to live. Okay. Yep. And it's almost like, because again, in 2013, that was the lowest point for my wife and I.
Yeah.
And 4 years later, we were in a totally different tax bracket, totally different everything, right? So I mean, that 4 years felt like 40.
Yeah.
But it was only 4. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like the point I'm making here is 5 years you can change your life. You can have 10 life changes in 5 years, man. Like I totally changed the game for those things. But it's almost like everybody that I mentioned before that is able to do this. It's almost like everybody else is looking through their glasses or their lens backwards, and it's making everything seem further away than it is.
Yeah. Because
again, look what you did in less than 6 years.
Yeah.
And because you've been where you're at now for a minute, right? Mm-hmm. So, when did you go from zero to hero? A couple years? Is that it? Was it even that long?
I mean, it was, man, I was a zero on the couch, and I went to 6 figures within 30 to 60 days. Wow. And then I went to 7 figures within a couple of years. Right.
Yeah. So,
and here's what I would tell everybody and encourage everybody to understand. You never start from scratch as an entrepreneur. You start from experience.
Let's go.
So I had already built a 7-figure business. So even though I'm sleeping on the couch and you see me in this vulnerable moment, what you got to understand is that I got information up here and I got skill sets that I've accumulated over the years of doing this. So I'm going to build this thing back up. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
You might see me in a vulnerable moment. You might see me here sleeping on the couch and just feeling depressed. But at a certain point, that dog's going to wake back up again.
Yeah.
And it's going to start to bark. Yep. And it's going to start to go after it once again. So never discount yourself if you are an entrepreneur who has had peaks and valleys and ups and downs. You always got another one in you, man.
Are you ready to take your brand digital? At HitLab Creative, we don't just make content. We build your digital foundation from the ground up. So whether you're launching a podcast, creating scroll-stopping social media content, or building a website that actually converts, we connect all the dots. Visit hitlabstudio.com/studio-time and let's build something that lasts. Because the HitLab is where digital strategy meets data-driven content creation. You're a great example of being able to, make your purpose greater than your problems. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't know, I'm putting words in your mouth here, but as a father, I can, my kids is what changed is what changed me. That was one of the greatest gifts God ever put in my life was a son, because I started seeing myself through him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would, because he would do exactly what I did. I'm like, man, that's what I look like. Good God, that's got to change. It was so and my former CEO Troy McQuaig used to say all the time, make your purpose greater than your problems.
Yeah,
and that's such an important thing to do because what you focus on grows.
Yep.
Right. So and it is hard because I can't tell you how many times I've sat on the couch late at night for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, beating myself up over how I handled something my kid did, or how I handled a situation with my wife, how I spoke to her, how I spoke to my kid, or even how I spoke to somebody at the office or the studio or something,
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I can dwell on it or I can focus on, well, I owe them an apology. I want them to know that I want to get better. I need their help getting better.
Yeah.
I want accountability. Like that was, you know what I mean? The greatest leaders can accept the most responsibility.
Can I tell you a story about my son?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just hit a vein oh my Lord. So there was one time I was tired and I was coming home from work, the gym, and I was frustrated. We had a bad week. Income wasn't looking good. I come home and my son is giving me a little bit of lip, not being disrespectful. My kids have never been disrespectful. Praise God for that. But he was just giving a little bit of back talk.
Okay.
And I had one nerve left and he was on it. Okay. And so through a series of events, as he's talking to me, I turn around and I just rip into him, man. I rip into him. And he looks at me and tears start streaming down his face. And he says, Dad, you're not that person that you say you are.
Wow, dude.
You're not the person that you say you are online. You're not a godly man. You're not any of these things.
How old was he when he said this?
He was like 13, 14 years old.
He
cut me. And when he said that to me, I paused. Like I stopped dead in my tracks. I couldn't rebuttal. I couldn't fight it. I said, you're right. You're absolutely right. So now I'm tearing up and I'm crying and I'm going through this. And so I call it, like we dads do, family meeting.
Yep.
Here we go. Bring everybody together.
Yeah.
And I sat my son and my daughter on the couch and I said, I want you to tell me everything right now that I'm doing that is hypocritical. I want you to tell me everything that I am doing right now that is hurting you guys. Brother, it was game changing for me. It was life changing.
Yeah.
Because they were so honest and they gave it to me. They didn't hold back.
That was your man in the mirror moment.
That was a man in the mirror moment. And just like you said, you see them doing what you do. And this is a message for parents all over the place. Kids will not do what you say. They'll do what you do.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Yeah.
You can, try to play coach all day long and say, do as I say, not as I do, but that's not what's going to happen. The kids are going to duplicate what it is that you do. So you might as well demonstrate the best version of yourself.
Dang, I've told this story multiple times. It was my son's 5th birthday. I'm at a real low point in life. We gave him, it was like the day before his birthday. So we're like, we're going to give you a present before your birthday type thing. And it wasn't the main present he was excited about. I never forget. It was a Spider-Man bicycle helmet.
Yeah.
And we gave it to him, and I didn't have a pot to piss in. So when we gave it to him, he wasn't that excited about it. And I remember I just flipped the hell out. I mean, embarrassing, like horrible. And I remember that was my man in the mirror moment because it was, I've told this story many times. I'm like, it was almost like God gave me a gift and I floated outside my body and I could see myself. I'm talking like I looked crazy. Like crazy. But what you just said, I finally figured out how it worked, is especially having a young daughter now, you can feel their emotions through their eyes.
Yeah.
You can see through their eyes. It's the craziest thing. So like when I was losing it, and I'll never forget it because after I tried to put it back together at the end, and I took a picture of my son with his bicycle helmet, and you can totally tell his eyes are all puffy.
Yeah.
He's not happy. It was a forced thing. And I kept that picture because to this day, I hate myself for it. You know what I'm saying? But like I get teared up thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
But that was the thing, is like while I'm losing it in front of him, kicking, screaming, I'm talking like as bad as it gets, dude. Insanity, for temporary insanity. Him and my wife, both with the tears and everything, that I was looking at myself through their eyes. It's one of the most important things that can happen to a man.
I think it is. And I think that each of us have to have those moments because, we're walking around with this pressure on our shoulders, right? Mm-hmm. We're walking around with this amount of, I can't fail.
Yeah.
Like it's an amount of purpose that it's hard to describe unless you're a man, you know what I'm talking about. Mm. And, it's sometimes it gets us in trouble because we're just not able to bear it sometimes, or we think we can't bear it.
Yeah.
And what happens is everything that you're saying that you're doing for the family that you love, you end up turning and there's no point to what you're doing because you're not servicing them the way that you need to.
That's right.
You're not showing up as the father. You're not showing up as the caring one. You're not showing up as that person that you need to be because you're so occupied with building something for them.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that's the excuse that we give ourselves. Well, it's for them and I just need yes, it is. But you know what? They're also other human beings with hearts.
Yep.
And with souls that need to be fed. They're human beings that I got a daughter and I got 3 sons. Don't you think I'm a better man because of that one girl?
Absolutely.
Like the boys are easy, man. You handle the boys, it's cool. Like you go, like we all know as fathers that boys are easy. The daughter is something else. Yeah. And that relationship is different.
Yes, it is.
It is, when my daughter tells me something and she's very blunt and honest with me. She's just like her dad. She just tells it like it is. And she's able to share things with me. And I'm like, baby girl, I didn't know that was what you were thinking. And so I take time to make sure to slow down to do that. And I'm very intentional now. And listen, you got to mess it up to get it right. But I'm very intentional now these days and making sure that I take as much time as she needs. If we got to be on the phone for an hour and a half and I got a meeting coming up, that meeting's getting pushed. Yep. It's okay, baby. Mm-hmm. I got you. That's right. Because there's nothing else more important than this conversation right here. And I think as a father, it's important to make sure that we're doing that, especially as entrepreneurs, because we're so used to problem solving, bulldozing through things and moving on, as opposed to trying to listen to what it is that these people are saying.
It taught me 2 things that I still use today, which first of all, my son remembers that moment. I wish he didn't, but he does. I don't remember a lot from my 5th birthday and he don't either from his 5th year, but like he remembers that moment. So we got 2 choices, right? Yeah. We can pretend it didn't happen and hide from it, and now it owns us forever.
Right.
Or I can say, Ethan, you remember how I made you feel, right? Well, guess what? Your job is to be better than me.
Yeah.
Just like my job is to be better than my dad. We got to get better with each generation. So instead of hide from it, it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't define me, and you don't let it define your dad. Right. And it shouldn't, and it's not going to define you either.
Right.
Right. We're gonna take it and learn from it and use it.
Yeah.
And literally face it in the mirror and acknowledge it, and that's how we're going to do that.
Yep.
And I learned too. I used to always, people say, Nick, what do you do? Well, actually, what do I do is I'm raising a family, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's who I am. Yep. How do I do that? That's what I do at work, right? So I started introducing myself by who I am at home first, because I am who I am everywhere else because of who I am at home. Right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So that was the priority thing. And that's getting back to the big biblical priority structure. It's, God first, then family, then everything else. Right. So,
yep. And that's what I lead with as well, man. I mean, when I walked in today and Dale was at the door, and we went straight into talking about fatherhood.
Yeah.
Because that's the greatest thing that I'm ever going to accomplish.
Yep.
If there's anything to gloat about, it's about being a father. If there's anything to put on your shoulder and show everybody, that's it, man.
And Dale is, Dale's the wealthiest person here. Okay. Not a lot of people know that. So he's not the richest, but he's the wealthiest.
Yeah.
Because he has the most power of choice. He has the most time.
Yep.
Right. He may not have the most money, but he has the most time. So being rich is fun.
Yep.
Right. We've enjoyed that part, but cool. But it's all about wealth, man, because, being rich comes with a big price.
Yes.
It does come with a big price. But when being wealthy is when you get paid back.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Now we talking.
Absolutely. So, let me think about which direction I want to take this from here, because there was some things I wanted to get to, but right now, dude, this is, everything that we are is coming from within, and the authenticity and the care and everything else that, I don't know, man. There's just a whole bunch of folks that are repeating things they heard online. They're not, they don't believe it. They're not living it. It's, we were talking about earlier. This is exactly all right. I got it. So you mentioned, you apologized to Mike earlier about vibration, manifestation, all those things. Well, look, here's my 2 cents on that. The reason that stuff works is because until you've said it a certain amount of times, or it's just all it is a commitment.
Yep.
All it is a commitment, right? So you're either committed to this or you're not.
Yes.
And sometimes by saying it over and over again, that's how it usually kind of works, right? So the power of words. And when you say things, it's different than just thinking it. I think a lot of things, I don't know anybody wants to see that. I don't know if anybody wants to go down that rabbit hole. But what we say out loud truly does matter.
Yeah.
And what we say out loud usually is what does happen. But not always what we think. So that was, going back to that. But all right, let me pivot here. Hold on, let me give that whole segment deserved its own hit, right? So, Caesar, obviously, you are a master of framework in life, as a father, as a businessman. But like that is literally like the most important piece of what it is that you do for folks. Is you teach framework, process, step 1, step 2, step 3, championship, right? And then start over and go win another championship. So walk me through, how'd you build the framework? How'd you come up with it? Something that came natural? Was it something that came hard? Walk me through how you kind of figured those things out. That's the magic sauce, right?
That's the magic sauce. It really is. If you put money into anything, put money into a strategist. Right. So, because that's what I really consider myself, is the ultimate strategist. I'm able to go into a situation and see things that you can't see in your business because you're so close to the situation, and I can extract exactly what's going on and then show you how to position your products, your services, and whatever else that you're trying to sell better through those frameworks. And so the frameworks really, I have to give credit, 100% credit, because it irks me that certain individuals out there in the marketing space will not give credit where credit is due. Yeah. And so for me, it comes back to Russell Brunson once again. Yeah. Russell Brunson and his frameworks help me to cultivate things that are in my mind now. And I'll give you some practical examples of what this is. We don't have to talk completely in the clouds. I'll give you some actual practical steps. But those frameworks really set the tone for, okay, this is how a funnel is supposed to be set up. This is how a story is supposed to be told. This is how this thing is supposed to be aligned to be able to make this thing successful. For instance, if you were doing a tripwire sales funnel, okay, you lead with a product that is irresistible. And you're going to do the most work on that very first page, okay, to entice people to come over to your funnel and to buy your product. If it is a fitness product, you're giving them a value stack and making sure that there's enough things in that fitness product that will want them to, or that will have them having a desire to convert and to give you their money on that first page.
Would that be considered like kind of like the hook? If this was
it's a hook, yeah. So I'm glad that you said that. Hook, story, offer is the main framework that we use for that. So if you look at a funnel, okay, if you look at a landing page, the headline is the hook. The video on the page that's telling the story, that's the story, okay? And the offer is the button on the page. So if you think about a landing page, you got a headline, you got a video, and then you got a button to take action. Hook, story, offer.
You just described a great social media post too.
Yeah, hook, story, offer, right? Yeah. And your emails are the same thing. Your subject matter, hook. Story is the body. Offer is the link inside of the emails. Okay, your ads, same thing. Hook, story, offer. Headline, hook. The video that you are using as your ad video, story, offer, CTA at the end. Yep. Hook, story, offer. When you went and tried to take a girl on a date, you had a hook.
That's right.
Hey, what are you doing Friday night?
I didn't for a long time until I did. That's when it worked.
Right. And then when you got her to the actual date, you told her some story that may or may not have been true. Yep. And
totally wasn't.
Then you gave her an offer eventually. Hey, you want to get married, girl? Yep. So hook, story, offer, that is the main framework that you need to use to be able to get people into your funnels. And so these are things that as you learn these things, you realize and you recognize you can take these frameworks and plug them into whatever industry.
Yeah, that's right.
I was speaking recently at a roofing conference. It's fresh in my mind. And all of these guys in the roofing industry, they're always leading with, hey, we'll come and do a free assessment. We'll come and check out your roof or whatever, right? And so that's how they get them into the pipeline, or they'll go knocking on doors, right? So they're going and they have their opening line and all that sort of stuff. And I said, you guys are terrible marketers. Like, you guys are terrible marketers. Roofing people are terrible marketers because they rely on just nothing but manpower to go knocking on doors because it's like nuts. And I'm like, why would you not want to go hit all these people virtually by pushing a button?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is because they don't know how to use the hook story offer. They don't know how to, and this, I'm going into the weeds here, but follow me because it'll make sense. Whenever you're offering something, whatever you're trying to get somebody into your funnel, you lead with the problem, not with the solution. Okay? Once again, lead with the problem, not with the solution. Basic Russell Brunson principle.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying, we can do your roof really nicely and this is what we can, these are the type of shingles. No, you say, you got a leak in your house right now and it's causing all these things and you had to pay $20,000 and you had to do this and your kid got sick and because they got sick, you had a hospital bill. This is leading with the problem.
Yeah.
Because what you do is you show and demonstrate that I know your problem better than you know your problem.
Yep.
I stay up late at night thinking about your problem.
Yeah.
And this is where in marketing, you have to be so obsessed with the person that you're trying to serve that you're willing to go there. And most people are lazy in their marketing because they're leading with solutions because it's selfish. I just want you to convert.
Dude, you are preaching like you taking people to church today, man. That's what I'm talking about. You ready to transform your business and unlock new revenue streams? At Processing First, we empower our partners with cutting-edge payment solutions and unparalleled support. By leveraging our extensive network of banking partners, we match you with the ideal bank to ensure that you receive the most competitive rates and deliver an exceptional experience for both you and your customers. Visit processingfirst.com to learn more and join our growing community of successful partners. It is insane. We did an audit and we've been very successful just with my social media stuff. And but check this out. It was like we thought we were doing just fine until in 2025 we learned a lot and we 10x'd everything we were doing. But man, we across all the platforms, there was like 8,700-ish posts made in 2024 on my behalf by my team. We went back and did an audit, and 85% of them didn't have the CTA or the offer. It was just like, and it dawned on me all of a sudden that was the man in the mirror moment for the agency. It was like, that's why a lot of the clients are getting fatigue and they can't figure out the ROI for one, because it's always got to be new, which is wrong.
Yep.
And then two, like they're just like, we were giving away value when we couldn't afford to. Like it's almost like on the airplane, if you don't put the oxygen mask on yourself, eventually you can't help everybody, right? So, we were like, when we really started on with the business owners or the clients that were like, hey man, like you're about to turn that curve when you can give back. But to be charitable, you have to have a certain financial health or time health to be charitable with it, right? And they weren't there yet, and that's why it wasn't working, right? So at the end of the day, it was like, I know you want to give value and help people, but like you have to be healthy enough to do that, right? Because if you give them all of you, then you die, and then you can't do nothing else with it, right? So there was a lot of business owners that were giving away too much expensive value, you know what I mean, with production and everything else, when they just couldn't afford to do that. So I'm like, why wouldn't every piece that you put out have an offer on it until you don't have to? And then even then, why would you not want to still have it there, right? So it's not hurting anybody. That was the big thing, is like there was like 6,000 or 7,000 pieces that didn't have the right offer or CTA at the end, even if it's just like and follow for more, you know, like it was just, the video would just end and it was almost like, hey Caesar, nice to meet you, and then I just leave the room.
And that's what, I think most people discount the strategies of being able to have relatability and shareability. Because organically, that really is the play. If you can create some piece of content that is going to be relatable and shareable, that's where the algorithm really starts to pick you up, right? Because again, going back to what I talked about before, where you can't think selfishly in your marketing.
That's right.
You have to think about the client. It's not about you. It's not about you at all. You have to think about the client. So what is it that they're going to experience or take away from this piece of content?
Listen up,
right?
folks. This is it right here. This is it. It ain't about you.
It ain't about you. And it's like, if you understand that, you say, okay, so if it isn't about, like, for instance, we never launch a product if we have not surveyed the actual crowd that we're going to sell it to. We ask them, what is it that you want to see from us? What do you want? And then we serve it up to them in a great marketing framework established way.
Yeah.
And every time that we have done that, and I'll tell you a story. I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible because I don't want to give like true numbers because this is people's businesses. But Tony Horton, the P90X guy, okay? We had a launch. It was a pre-launch to the main launch. And I remember he called me the day before. He's a little nervous because he's never done this.
Yeah.
And he's like, Caesar, I don't know if this is going to work, man. I'm a little nervous about this. And I said, okay. At the time, we had already launched the funnel, okay? And it was promoting a certain product to help us to build the main product. So it was like a pre-sale to the big sale, okay? And we were selling something I think we had done maybe about, tens of thousands of dollars in a day's time, okay? And then what ended up happening is he called me the day that we had, okay, so I think I messed it up in the beginning. It wasn't the day before we launched. He had called me the day that we had already launched, and he was wondering if it was going to work.
That's it.
He wasn't sure, right? And so he calls me up, and I say, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go live tonight using this framework, and I want you to tell the true story as why we're doing this. I want you to talk to the people and talk about what it is that's actually going on. Now, the framework that I give him was the Epiphany Bridge story. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a framework that we use in VSLs. And I said, I want you to do this, but I want you to do it in a live version. And I want you to just keep the notes and pour your heart out and do it. He connected with the people so much that night. That funnel went from making tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands overnight.
Like that.
Like that. Because we were able to not think about what we wanted, but to think about what the client wanted and the people wanted. And we connected with them in such a way that they were like, please take my money.
The golden rule, man.
Take my money. And it's like, I always go back to help enough people solve their problems and your problems will always be solved. Right?
Fact.
I mean, people, this is, okay. The problem with a lot of people in their marketing is that they are not thinking that there are human beings on the other side of the screen. Who do you think you're marketing to?
Yes, sir.
Human beings with hearts, with souls, with spirits, with problems. So if you market to people in a robotic, click here now to get that, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Connect with the people in a way that moves them.
Yep.
That allows them to be, yes, hooked in, but your story, when it's told in a way that touches them.
They won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how it made them feel.
Yes. Yes. Yep. So when you look at a framework, like the actual structure of a funnel, so this is kind of like a little behind the scenes stuff that us funnel people know. But the above the fold is for the people that came from the hook, from the ad, and they'll look at the headline. They'll look a little bit at the video, but they'll push the button right away and go. That's the impulsive people.
Yep.
Okay, so above the fold is really for the impulsive people that are just ready to go because they seen the ad, it made sense, and they're like, boom, let me just go get it. The rest of the page is for the analytical folks. Okay, so that's all the copy.
Yep.
Right? So it's all the analytical folks that are like, okay, well, let me just read a little bit more. Yes, I was moved, but let me just read a little bit more. And they'll go down the page, and that's what the long form copy is for. Some people are like, man, do I have to write all that? Yes, because you have different types of folks, different strokes for different folks.
That's right.
Right? And so, that's what, when we look at a funnel, we want to be able to hit all the points that we know a human being will be going through.
Yeah.
Right. All the stuff that they're going to think about in their mind. We knock down objections. We give proof of concept. There's so many things that go into it. And so anyhow, my point is that you're dealing with human beings and you have to market to them as human beings.
Yeah. It was, I don't remember who said it to me. But like, even like when it was one of the last branding things that I did before I had a new frame of mind. So, basically I was hung up on something, and it was like, and the person asked me that was helping me at the time, they were like, who's buying this? Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you mean? Who's buying this? I'm like, well, the customers will. I'm like, but you're not buying it. So why does it matter what you like? Yeah. It matters what the people that are buying it like about it.
Let me tell you something. You just hit it right on the head. The biggest problem I have is when I'm dealing with clients is they want to launch a product that they want to launch.
Yeah.
It's the biggest mistake. Because if you're not starting with the avatar, reverse engineering from there, you're going to make a product that nobody buys. You understand what I'm saying? If it's a selfish product and you're putting it out there and thinking that everybody wants to know about your trauma from your from your childhood, thinking that this book's going to change lives, and it could, but if you didn't do the market research and figure out the avatar and the demographics and the psychographics on who they are, then why would they buy from you?
There's an unwritten rule in Hollywood, which is basically like, you always got the actors that want to do that film that's not going to make any money.
Yeah.
But they need the studio or somebody to pay for it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it was in Entourage. Vinny Chase wanted to make Med-Ian.
One of my favorite shows.
and Ari told him, he's like, no, 2 for them, then one for you.
Yep. And that's how it goes. So I'll tell you something that most people will understand. It's like an artist that is doing pop music for the first 5 albums. Yep. Then once they establish themselves, they can go and they can create that artsy album that it's not really going to move, but it's for the artist.
Yep.
They just want to showcase a few more things, right? And so you have to go and take the market and deliver the market what it wants. And then you have a little flexibility on, once you've already made it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, so you're in Nashville now, right? Not a lot of people know that, right? That's very exciting for old Nick over here.
Yeah. Man, I'm in Nashville and I'm enjoying it. I played behind the scenes for a long time. And I'm just now, Nick, I'm just like, this is one of the first podcasts that I'm doing because I played behind the scenes for so long. And I'm just ready to kind of, I'm opinionated. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a very opinionated dude. And I see so many things in the landscape of marketing. I'm like, man, I want to go make that right. And really just in life and being a father and that sort of thing, it just makes me want to come out and say a few more things. But I just moved to Nashville about 1.5 years ago, and it has been an amazing blessing in my life. There's some great people that we're meeting. We just did some business with the biggest Nashville developer in town. His name is Tony Giarantana.
Okay.
He built the Viridian. He built the Encore. He built the 505. He built what else? Prime and Alcove. He's getting ready to build Paramount, the highest skyscraper in Nashville. We deal with icons, Nick. Okay, this is who we do. And so one of the first things that we did was when we reverse engineered that campaign. You can even go and look at the reel that we did on. It's on the Prime Instagram page, but. All these things that we're talking about, we did that for Tony. So we helped him lead with the problem, not with the solution. And it's such a world difference of what he was doing prior to that to when we came in. You could tell the difference, right? So it's pretty cool. I love being here in Nashville, and I'm excited about everything that we got going on.
Tell me about you're going to be launching some masterminds and whatnot. Tell me what's going on. What are you excited about in 2026? 2025, your best year to date, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know 2026 is going to be the same.
Yeah.
All right. Or more of the same, I should say. Yeah. More winning. So talk to me about what you're excited about. Talk to me about those masterminds a little bit.
So, what I decided is I truly love workshops. That I don't like to go to masterminds where everything is just kind of, okay, guys, this is the general sense of the direction of where we're going and who's what you should think about. I don't do a whole lot of mindset. I believe in mindset. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Eric Thomas. These are all my guys.
Les Brown, I love him too.
But these are things that I leave for other people to lead with. I really like getting in the weeds. So my masterminds are going to be like 1-day intensives. Okay. So essentially, we're going to get together and we're going to keep it a small group, 10 to 15 people, something like that, business owners that have bottlenecks in their marketing. And we're going to take deep dives and say, okay, all right, what kind of results have you been getting? Show me your campaign, show me your thing, and I'm going to audit them right on the spot and tell them exactly what they're doing wrong. And the beauty about that is that they can bring their team members along, so that way I can audit the team.
Yeah.
Right. And those are very intensive, honest conversations that are required to actually make things happen. Right. And so when we have those masterminds, I'm really excited about it because we have people that are, coming in from all over the states, and everybody wants to be in Nashville. So it just works. Everybody wants to come to Nashville.
That's
Everybody
right.
loves this place. I live downtown and live in that city life. Eventually I'm going to be out here with you, man, and be out here in normal life. But right now, that's what's going on. That's what we have happening.
Hey, pardon this quick interruption, but it's a good one. You're listening to this ad right now, which means someone else could be listening to your ad in this exact spot. Go to nickhyder.com/contact-me or click the link in the show notes to get started. Let's put your brand in the spotlight right where it belongs. Man, I'm sitting here like, Jensen, look at this stuff. Like you mentioned, you said, I am the ultimate strategist.
Yeah.
That needs to be like, what was in the Facebook movie? It said CEO bitch or something like that. I'm CEO bitch, something like that. Like your card needs to say the ultimate strategist.
Yeah.
Like that's how I should have introduced him. I should do it again. The ultimate. Big Benny is the overall attraction, So you're the ultimate strategist.
Yeah.
I love that, dude.
Yeah. I love coming in and I like talking shop, man. I mean, Nick, I'm going to tell you the truth. I would do this for free. I mean, my retainer is 6 figures. Don't get it wrong, and don't hit me up for free stuff.
That's right.
But I would do it in the sense that like even when I meet business owners that can't afford me, like there's no way, they're in year one and they're struggling. I will sit there for 4 or 5 hours and talk to them and strategize and say, listen, man, this is what I think needs to happen. And I give them enough information that they can chew on and not overcrowd their minds with things that they can't do right now. But I love strategy.
Yeah.
And I think that problems in life correlate with problems in business. Like if you become a very good problem solver in business, it kind of spills over into your life, right?
Yeah.
Now you got to be careful with that because you don't treat everything you don't treat a conversation with your wife as business. Don't do that, right?
There, it didn't work. Yeah, you're right. Sorry,
you
baby.
gotta chill.
Sorry.
You got to chill. But but I love strategy and I love being able to solve problems. When people come to me, they come to me with massive problems. Okay, so Tony Gerentano right here in Nashville, he's got to sell condos, man. He's and the market's really cold right now.
Yeah.
That's a massive problem.
Yeah.
That we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars worth of a problem.
I was surprised how many units I'm seeing available online, like on TikTok, Facebook, that real estate agents trying to move these things. And honestly, I was blown away at how not expensive they were compared to what I was expecting to see.
Yep. And these places, not Tony's places, but other competitors, what I'm seeing is that they're giving away the 3 months and the 4 months. And once they start doing that, they're telling you, man, nobody's coming.
That's crazy.
Right? Nobody's coming. And for me, I'm like, that's the wrong message to send to them if you're trying to sell a premium product. And, but anyhow, I like solving big problems, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we call ourselves Icon Funnels, because we deal with icons and we deal with iconic problems. Like we are the ultimate problem solvers, man. We come in, whether it's technical, you don't know how to run your software, you don't know how to set up automations, workflows, the things that make all of the things tick. You don't know how to position your product. You don't know how to package it in a way that's going to sell. High ticket, low ticket, all these different things that are available as tools to make money from your audience. That's what we love to do. And we come in, one of the initial clients that brought us out to Tennessee, his name was Dr. Ken Berry. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
So Dr. Ken Berry, that was the first client that came out or brought me out to Nashville. And I love Ken and his wife, Nisha, amazing people. And, we came in at a time where he was trying to figure out, how do I put some of these components together? I got a membership, I got this, I got that, but I don't want to overly promote. And so we go into situations like that with people that, by the way, Ken's probably the most prominent voice in the space. He's got the biggest following out of everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, when we came in and, we helped him to position that and to set it up and to set up the infrastructure. And so digital products, physical products, high ticket products, low ticket, mid tier, what's your value ladder? Where are you ascending people? These are all questions that everybody is trying to figure out, but they don't know. And most of the time, you'd be surprised when I walk into some of these rooms that are these celebrities and these people that you think have it all together. They ain't got nothing together.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, it's borderline like, whoa, how did you make it, man? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But when we come in, we try to clean up the mess and we try to make sure that we set an expectation of excellence. I think part of what our brand really is coming in and operating with a spirit of excellence. Antoine, you understand who he is. He moves with a spirit of excellence.
That's right.
Right? That's who he is. When he comes on set, we were just on a set yesterday. And Antoine has a way with his spirit to be able to move the client to do what they need to do in a way that's comfortable.
Yep.
He gets them real comfortable. I mean, he's got that voice tonality. Yes, sir. He's professional. He's set up. He's got his stuff set up properly. He's not trying to, fix something on the spot. He has everything set.
It's almost like he can punch you in the face, but you didn't know he punched you in the face. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're grinning and you're like, that felt good. Wait a minute. Did he just punch me in the face? Like it's so, and you're right though.
Yeah,
you're right.
And that's what I love about people like himself. And that's the tone that we try to set. So, it was a natural fit with him and I to work together. Because I seen the way that he treated our clients and the people that we deal with. And I'm like, man, I really like Antoine, this is something or someone I want to work with. So, problem solving, coming in, fixing all the mess, doing the things that most people can't do and won't do and don't spend time doing. Because creatives, let's talk about that for a second, because celebrities are normally creatives.
Yep.
They are so creative that the technical side blows their brains. You might as well, they want to put a gun to their head.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I don't want to go build a landing page, man. I don't want to go and do that. Like, that's not where my gift is. Going back to Tony Horton, I show up and I hit my mark. Tell me exactly what to do. One of the cool things that it's a little bit of a bragging moment. I got to co-produce the launch video, the VSL, with the guy who shot P90X, the original P90X.
Wow.
His name is Ned Farr, and him and I co-produced it.
Okay.
I wrote the script. I wrote everything. He showed up with his crew to shoot it, and I had everything prepared for him. And that was one of the best moments in my career.
I bet.
Because I was like, man, I am with the guy who was behind the guy.
That's right.
The guy who made this thing go. The guy who shot these infomercials and made this thing famous, right? So anyhow, that's a little bit of a bragging moment, but.
Well, Caesar, as we get to as we bring this episode to a close,
Yes.
All right, so there's all the folks out there are thinking, man, I could use the ultimate strategist in my life, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about, let's make sure that, one of the hardest things to do is when it's almost like I want to look at somebody and be like, hey, no, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Right. Who are you talking to today? Let's get their attention right now. And what action should they take to take in the next steps, man?
If you're somebody who has built up an audience, you're somebody who has amassed all of these people, and you're quote unquote online influencer, celebrity, or something like that, and and you're trying to figure out how to create products, digital services, membership sites, recurring revenue, all this sort of stuff. And maybe you've had a team and maybe you're kind of traumatized because the team didn't work out or something happened there, right? Like, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. And I have to give it to most people. They're right, because most marketers suck. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is just what it is. I'm just being honest about my industry. Most marketers come in and they overpromise and underdeliver.
I agree.
It's just what it is, man. And so what we try to do is we work with those type of people, but we come in and we partner with them. Our contracts are not no little 90-day runways. We do 1 to 2 year partnerships. Okay. So we come in and we say, we're going to play the long game with you and we're going to build this thing right. The infrastructure has to be right to make this happen. And so that's why years later, team is still handling Tony Horton's account. Years later, the concepts that we came up with 6-7 years ago are still alive today. Right. So the person that is sitting there, the person that I'm talking to right now, that may be you. Now, there is a flip side of that. Maybe you won in life Maybe you have built up the business, but you don't even have a footprint online, and you want to have a footprint, because I run into those characters all the time.
Yeah.
You've made millions of dollars, you've done something great in life, and now you want to put out a book, or you want to, go and start something. You want to create a product, and you don't know where to start. And you're kind of sitting there like, man, I got all this knowledge and I can't put it out to the world. You can call me too.
That's right. That's right.
So, that would be the people that I'm calling out. And I would say to go to iconfunnels.com, check it out. And, there's a video on there that kind of describes what we do. And yeah, man, I love to talk to anybody who is somebody like that. Now, if you're somebody who is the opposite, maybe one of these masterminds is better, right? So if you're not somebody who can pay a 6-figure retainer, you can't do stuff like that, or you can't, pay for expensive consulting, then come to a mastermind. Those are reasonably priced at like $5,000, man. Like, you can come to a mastermind and still get really great advice and head in the right direction.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome to see, like you said, you've been the man behind the man for a long time. I guess it was, I don't know if it was 2024 or just earlier this year, all of a sudden you just came out, and it felt like you came out of nowhere, started seeing you online, and everything else. And again, it's cool because you kind of came out of nowhere, but everything backed up. You know what I mean? Everything checked out that was being put out there. So it was really good. And your content's fabulous, man.
Thank you, awesome, brother. Yeah. That was a conscious decision that I made with my team. I said, hey man, I've been quiet for a long time. Yeah. I think we should actually start to put some stuff out. So that's why we started getting loud. It's been fun for me because I get to play dress up and do all the things that we do and all that sort of stuff. And by the way, if anybody's staring at me in these shades and what I'm wearing and all this sort of thing, look, I've been a dad for 20 years. Okay. Raising my kids on my own. When I left and I came to Nashville, I said, I'm going to change up the style. Yep. I'm not going to look like a dad. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to do something different. So I'm trying this thing out, and it's kind of becoming the brand, and I'm enjoying it, man. It's pretty
dude, cool. It's working, man. Like, hey, man, look, when you walk in a room and everybody says that's somebody, you did it. I want that. Yeah. I 100% want that. I don't want to blend in. I want to stand out.
Yep.
And I don't want to have to work that hard to stand out. Right. I want to stand out just when I take a step forward.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Praise God.
So I love it, man. Well, Caesar, I got to say, dude, like I said, I've had a blast today, man. This has been this is one of my favorite episodes, and I'm just grateful for the relationship, bro.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna do it again. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get you to commit on the spot right here that we're gonna come back in 2026 and do it again, man.
Absolutely, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
You got my commitment.
Finding the right health plan can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Backed by over 12 years of experience and more than 20 national and local awards, Team Hyder is here to help you navigate your options and choose a plan that fits your family's needs and your budget. Visit teamhyder.com today to schedule your consultation and get the coverage that you deserve. Folks, founder and CEO of Icon Funnels Consulting, Caesar Hernandez. Folks, he's in Nashville, and be keeping up, be on the lookout for the launch of those Nashville Masterminds coming in 2026, right?
Yes, sir.
So iconfunnels.com. Keep up with him on all of his socials at The Real Caesar Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
Folks, ladies and gentlemen, the most interesting man on earth, Caesar Hernandez, baby. Thank you, Caesar.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Folks, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of The Hitstreak. I am your man, Nick Hyder. God bless.